You ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken? Uh-oh.
Weird.
Actor prepares, so I have literally been exclusive to Minecraft for the last month and a half.
Right.
All Minecraft all the time. I'm in a little movie called Minecraft.
Panic is gripping Rachel Zegler. Furthermore, it is no longer subtle. After defending Disney's live-action Snow White for a year, she is now witnessing the movie's box office failure, while a picture about pixelated blocks is breaking records and generating news. Industry insiders claim that Rachel is trying to find a therapist. Everything is catching up, including the pressure, the criticism, and the persistent social media dragging. However, she has allegedly begun blaming everyone and everything around her rather than taking responsibility for the situation, including Minecraft. Indeed, Minecraft. According to reports, Rachel is now implying that Snow White's failure can be attributed in part to the popularity of the Minecraft film. Not the screenplay, not the tone. The press tour, no. However, a silly video game movie is earning more money than one of Disney's most popular products. What about the figures? They are degrading. In less than 20 days, Minecraft reached the $700 million global milestone. That is more than 3 times Snow White's 3-month earnings. Once regarded as one of the most recognizable Disney properties ever, Snow White is currently losing ground to blocky animations and zombie creepers. This isn't simply a box office failure, though. It's a complete collapse. Additionally, Rachel has already experienced difficulties with the blowback. An old clip from the initial announcement of the Snow White remake has suddenly surfaced. Rachel is clearly shaken throughout the video. She almost breaks down when she tries to convey how pervasive the hostility was even before the film was released.
It's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
She felt as though she was being attacked without cause at the time. However, even her own followers are beginning to change after months of negative publicity, contentious interviews, and tone-deaf remarks. Backlash was anticipated. However, they weren't prepared for Rachel to begin deflecting with such force. Internet trolls are the target of her. An unpleasant filming environment has been alluded to by her. She has even implied in a subtle way that her co-stars didn't stand by her. However, she has never fully accepted responsibility for the tone of the movie, the press coverage, or her remarks regarding the first Snow White in any of her public remarks. Disney is now putting the emergency stop on. The corporation is reportedly completely abandoning its live-action remake plan. Tangled and other projects that were already in the early stages of production are currently being reviewed. This is code for the possibility that they will be completely dropped. Not just one actress is being criticized. The entire strategy is failing. However, while Rachel was blaming others and trying to change the story, nobody else spoke. Until he didn't. Because Jack Black just did an interview that may have been the year's most kind yet brutal reality check. And in less than 30 seconds, he reminded everyone why Minecraft is succeeding by clowning the entire Disney strategy without mentioning Rachel's name once. Jack Black has enough experience in Hollywood to know how to manage a public relations disaster. He didn't boast, therefore, when interviewers questioned him about his part in the Minecraft film, the same film that recently destroyed Snow White at the box office. He didn't disparage anybody. He merely grinned. In an interview with IGN, Jack stated,
An actor prepares, so I have literally been exclusive to Minecraft for the last month and a half.
Right.
All Minecraft all the time. I'm in a little movie called Minecraft. I don't want to brag, but it's kind of a big deal.
Oh, man.
Just Steven it up in the Minecraft universe, getting back into it. Because I did play years ago because my kids were super duper into it and I wanted to speak their language. So I studied hard and I learned and I was getting really into it, building houses and tunneling around. And now I'm getting back into it. And it's pretty rad.
I don't want to boast, but getting this movie is a huge deal to me. Just one sentence said everything. He received recognition. Thank you. Centered on having fun. There was no politics, no lectures, no shade, just the excitement of being a part of something awesome, the kind of atmosphere that fans like. And the disparity was immediately noticed by admirers. Rachel stated that she didn't enjoy the first Snow White movie when questioned about it. The prince was labeled a stalker by her. She made fun of the themes in the original story.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Jack Black. I felt lucky, he remarked, leaning into nostalgia. Zegler Rachel? She treated the part like a lecture opportunity and publicly separated herself from the original. Then came the social media lightning viral moment, a parody skit in Minecraft that showed Jack Black roasting a chicken in lava, but with Rachel's face altered on the chicken.
You ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
It was a brief, crude meme, and since it felt real, it went viral. Without uttering a single word, Jack Black has unintentionally become the spokesperson for what fans truly desire: positive energy, endearing characters, and no preaching. It didn't end there either. Jack was being praised on fan pages and subreddits, while Rachel was sitting in almost empty theaters with flowers. His strategy, which was funny, enjoyable, and considerate of the viewership, perfectly matched what Minecraft offered: a film intended for fans rather than to chastise them. The most painful thing is that, by removing Snow White's fairy tale allure and substituting message-first storytelling, Rachel and Disney attempted to modernize the film. None of that was done by Minecraft. It allowed the players and parents to participate in a straightforward, entertaining story. Then came South Park, which once again made Disney laugh with its now famous sequence with Kathleen Kennedy, in which she says,
"Is there a problem, people?
We were just discussing ideas of what to do with the new Prince Eric movie.
Put a chick in it, make her gay."
What fans believe is wrong with today's corporate content strategy was summed up in one line: what about Jack? Without ever using the term, he positioned himself as the anti-woke antidote, whether on purpose or not. However, Rachel Zegler was about to go into full image restoration mode, while Jack Black was quietly winning. Co-stars started voicing their opinions. She was haunted by her previous interviews. Additionally, she began acknowledging for the first time that perhaps, just possibly, she made some mistakes. Rachel Zegler is now beginning to take some responsibility after weeks of silence, subtly shifting blame, and viral interviews that damaged her reputation. Now, though, the question is, did she wait too long? Because the fallout is still spreading behind the scenes. Snow White is still not well. Disney has been silent. Even Rachel's co-stars are starting to change the storyline. Gal Gadot, who portrays the evil queen in the movie, recently talked candidly about the experience of making it. She didn't drag Rachel directly, but she didn't defend her either. Gal said that there was no companionship on the set and stated she would talk about Rachel when she feels comfortable. It was bad is PR jargon for that.
Gal delivered the following: "The most important thing when you are working on a film is teamwork. And when you have characters like the Evil Queen and Snow White, you expect teamwork to play a role in the creative process when you are trying to put something special together. We didn't really have teamwork, and there were many setbacks that we had to deal with during this entire process. And I just found that to be very exhausting."
And comments like that build up. Because Rachel Zegler's manner of speaking was one of the main points of contention, not only what she said. The voice, the conceit, the contempt shown to people who sincerely enjoyed the original tale. It was more than just a disagreement. It was about pretending that everyone who had a different opinion was the issue. Even her previous controversies are now making a comeback, such as when she used social media to disparage Trump supporters. Rachel eventually apologized after the immediate outrage. However, not everyone purchased it. Megyn Kelly, a conservative commentator, bluntly referred to her apologies as performative and phony.
The reason we had Rachel Zegler on the docket is she's an asshole. So she came out and took a large dump on half of the country, everyone who voted for Trump. So I attacked her, and then she came out and she said, I apologize. Like I went too far, but it wasn't sincere. And my team, my helpful team, pulled this thought from December 2023, in which, I mean, I would say she leans into her role as both victim and heroine. Listen.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Oh my God.
And I can only hope
What does that mean?
that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Like so many other instances, A1 contributes to the increasing belief that Rachel's persona was consistently more staged than real. The emotional curveball then appeared. Rachel shared on social media that her dog has an unknown ailment and that she was requesting help from her fans during what she called a very trying period. It was a sincere post. Uncooked. It wasn't a publicity stunt. It had a human feel. People stopped for a second. Beneath the press tour practices, the same audience that had been following her for months got a glimpse of the real girl. And several admirers, including some detractors, began to question whether she was the bad guy in this situation. Perhaps she simply didn't realize how cruel Hollywood can be when things don't work out. However, empathy has its limits, because Hollywood is already moving on while Rachel fights to get back on her feet. According to reports, her upcoming endeavors are being reconsidered. Calls for casting are stalled. Directors are apprehensive. The studios fear further uproar. In the United States, Snow White has yet to earn even $100 million. And for Disney, that's a warning sign for any upcoming relaunch, not just a failure. These days, it's not just about one movie. It has to do with brand trust, tiredness of the audience. And if Rachel Zegler's name is now associated with controversy rather than competence. As the dust was beginning to settle, a different voice, one that had the potential to elevate this to a completely new level, entered the discussion. Ultimately, this was more than simply a competition between Snow White and Minecraft at the box office. It became something a lot bigger. The object becomes a mirror. One film was promoted as enjoyable, nostalgic, and sincere. The other was full of contradictory statements, interviews, and messages that generated more discussion than enthusiasm. Additionally, the audience had already chosen when the numbers were announced. Rachel Zegler's name is now associated with one of Disney's most significant contemporary flops. The problem is that she is hardly the first performer to become embroiled in an identity dilemma at a studio. She won't be the last either. What about Disney? Now they are silent, halting behind-the-scenes remakes, ignoring the box office results and making no comment. However, you can be sure that their next move will be safer. Not as political, more strategic, since they are aware that everyone is watching them and that another failure like this could be the last straw. What are your thoughts? Was Rachel singled out unfairly? Was she set up for failure by Disney? Or is this simply the result of rewriting ancient stories for public relations after they have been stripped of their essential elements? We read everything, so please share your thoughts in the comments. Wait until you see what we're talking about next if you thought this story was crazy. I'll see you later.